Good afternoon, students. Can you see me?
Good
Yes,
afternoon.
ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good
Okay.
afternoon,
Good
ma'am.
afternoon, ma'am.
Entire session, please keep your mics mute and your cameras on. Is it okay? Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All your queries will be answered at the end of the session. Okay? Now, good afternoon, all of you. I'm Dr. Mohita Chaturvedi Sharma, and I am here on behalf of Abhivyakti Club English Forum. And we are beginning with the 3-day workshop on the art of public speaking. Now, public speaking is an important element as it not only helps in developing your communication skills, but also helps in development of your personality as it enhances critical thinking, analyzing, and it broadens the sphere of your learning. We are joined here with our very own principal ma'am, Dr. Seema Agarwal, and our resource person for the event, that is Madam Shweta Aluwalia. We welcome you both, and we would like to begin our session with a welcome note from Dr. Tina Singh Badoria. She's a team member of the Abhivyakti Club English Forum. Tina ma'am? Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Just a
Good
second.
afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
All right, all right. Just hold on. आपका आ रही है आवाज यहाँ पे और माइक इज ऑन. In the 3-day workshop on art of public speaking, it gives me immense warmth and pleasure to welcome the principal of our college, Dr. Seema Agarwal. I welcome the convener of the Abhivyakti Club, Ms. Dr. Preeti Sharma, all the other members of the Abhivyakti Club, our chief guest, and the main speaker or the resource person, Ms. Shweta Ahluwalia, and I welcome all my dear students. So, communication is one of the most important aspect or a life lesson that has to be learned in for a successful business as well as for a very healthy life. So, I welcome all of you for this 3-day workshop, and now I ask Mohita ma'am to continue with the meeting. Okay, before we begin the session, I would like our principal ma'am, Dr. Seema Agarwal, to please speak a few words of motivation to our students.
Thank you, Mohita. Good afternoon to all the participants who joined for this Abhivyakti Club activity. The topic decided for today's workshop is very well relevant. Public speaking is very essential part of our personality. What we think can be assessed by the other person only by the way how we speak. So speaking or expressing our view matters a lot. What we think, what is our thought process, nobody has this kind of power that they can assess without expressing our views. So it is for all of us that we should keep track and we should mind our speaking, especially public speaking, whenever we are expressing our views in public. In public means with our friends, in classroom or in workplace. So everywhere when the outsiders are the listeners, we say we are speaking at public. So this is a very good topic and very essential topic, and I hope today's resource person, Ms. Shweta Ahluwalia, will going to share the tips and the special things which we have to keep in mind for public speaking. And public speaking matters a lot. So I think all of you have heard one share that I'm reminding a little bit. अंदाजे बयां ही रंग बदल देता है, वरना कोई बात नई नहीं होती है। हम अपने तरीके से बात को नया बना के बताते हैं, ये एक स्किल हमारे अंदर होनी चाहिए। और हम सब उस व्यक्ति से बहुत प्रभावित होते हैं जिसकी वक्तव्य कला बहुत अच्छी होती है, और हम ये चाहते हैं कि हम भी वैसा बने। तो हमें कई सारी चीज़ें होती हैं, उनका ध्यान रखना होता है। तो मेरा ये मानना है कि आपके आज के इस सेशन में आप लोग इन सब बातों को समझेंगे। और मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ कि नोट करिए, जो भी आप वर्कशॉप में सुनते हैं हम भूल जाते हैं बहुत जल्दी। नोट करेंगे तो वो आपको हमेशा आप उससे बेनिफिट लेते रहेंगे। सो थैंक यू ऑल and congratulate to the committee members of Abhivyakti Club for organizing such a relevant topic for the workshop. And again, congratulate all the participants. I can see that around 50 students have joined, and I think the limit is for 100. You have an enrolled 100 students. So they will also soon join.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your words of motivation. I also would like to mention here that we have, this was the sole idea of our convener, Dr. Preeti Sharma. We would like to welcome you here. Thank you, Preeti ma'am, for joining us. Our resource person for the 3-day workshop is Madam Shweta Aluwalia. She's a well-known motivational speaker, business consultant, and an entrepreneur. She has completed her management program from IIM Lucknow. She's worked as a corporate consultant, communication skill master, facilitator, and life skill coach. She started her own venture, The Quench, a learning and development platform in 2017. So we welcome you, ma'am, and welcome on the behalf of Abhivyakti Club English Forum, and also welcome on the behalf of the college. So the session is handed over to you. Over to you, ma'am.
Hi girls, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's nice
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
afternoon, ma'am.
Thank you for joining. And I'm Shweta, as your faculty just introduced me. I have a little technical glitch at my end today, and that is that I can't hear all of you. I'm assuming that you can hear me. However, I have some technical glitch at my end. I'm not able to hear you girls or anybody from your end. So whatever interaction we had planned for today, we'll park it in the writing column and we will pick up those questions and answer. However, and tomorrow and day after, we will be able to have an interactive communication. But for today, there's some technical glitch. I'm sorry, apologizing for that to begin with. And now let me start with my session. As you are now aware, my name is Shweta. I will now begin to share my screen with you. I'm hoping that you can see the screen because I have no means of knowing verbally if you can see or can't see. Okay, good afternoon once again. So when I was asked that I'm expected to talk to a bunch of girls from Kanodia College, I was really happy to be given this opportunity because it's very seldom that now I get opportunities to talk to young people like you guys, because most of my sessions and engagements now are with corporate leaders and corporate employees. So it is a pleasant change for me and I'm enjoying being a part of this. So, and I very carefully thought how I wanted to articulate what is it that I'm going to talk about. So I chose to call my session The Extraordinary You. Each one of you, because academically I'm a psychologist, so a lot of the information that I will share today will be born out of my academic background. So I strongly believe, and there's enough evidence in the world that says that each one of you is born with a magical spark in you, which makes you extraordinary, which makes you class apart. Now, how do we figure out what is that element in us that makes us that extraordinary us? So the intent to have this session is to address that discovery in each one of you. But before I go on with the session, I have So I am struggling technically, so bear with me, guys. I want to toggle my screen. I'm not able to. Okay. So I will play a video, and I'm hoping you can hear the video.
Jeremy, you said you took a class at Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
And that changed your life.
Yeah.
When was that?
Well, I was totally terrified of public speaking. I couldn't do it. I would throw up. You know, I just wouldn't. So I arranged my classes in high school and college so I didn't have to do it. And then when I was at Columbia, I saw an ad in the paper. I went down to Midtown, New York. I gave him a check for $100 to sign up for the Dale Carnegie course. I went back and stopped payment on the check. And then I came out here to start selling securities. I knew I had to do it. So I saw another ad, and I went down right near here and handed the guy $100 in cash, Wally Keenan. And I took the course. I tell him, look, you learn all this complicated stuff. It's an MBA. But if you improve your communication skills, I will guarantee you that you'll earn 50% more money over your lifetime. And I said, it's kind of beneath the business school to teach you about speaking better, writing better. But that is what counts. And it isn't really, some elaborate formula about options or something. And so I tell every one of them, I say, unless you really think you're good at this now, go out and improve your speaking and communication skills.
Shut the door. So I played a little video with you, and the gentleman in the video, if you recognize him, he is Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett happens to be, as of date, among the 10 most richest people in the world, and he happens to be the 7th richest person in the world. And what he has to say is written right here. You will be worth 50% more in your life if you improve one human skill. And if you were listening to the video, there is one skill that he very clearly called out. We will talk about that skill as we proceed, but I'm assuming right now that you heard what he was talking about. Now, introspect. I will share a magical word with you. I want you to look at that word and think. SUCCESS. It is another powerful word, success. And all of us desire to possess this one thing. And all of you are studying in one of the very, very elite institutions in the state of Rajasthan, Kanodia College. It happens to be among the top few sparkling colleges in the entire state of Rajasthan. So to have an admission in such a elite academic institute itself is a huge achievement. And I'm sure you're looking for this for yourself, and this is called success. Now, pause for a moment, put your hand across your heart and say, how many of you wish to be successful in life? The question seems very easy, but please think, how many of you wish to be successful in your life? Okay, the momentary pause that I wanted you to take and introspect and mull ends. So those of you who desire to be successful in life, let's continue from here onward. Now, you might be wondering, how do you define success? Success may mean something totally different to me, and success may mean something totally different to you. And even amongst you, success may mean different things to different people. Hare ki paribhasha success can be totally different. So, now what are the core elements of success? What are the core elements of success? Personal success. How we look, how we appear to the world, how we are as an individual is personal success. Now, why are we talking success? Because the session that I've planned today has a lot to do with your making it or you're not making it. And as a psychologist, I believe that each one of you has everything, all the raw material that it takes to be successful. And as Warren Buffett just shared one of the human skills that he says, if you could hone that skill and master that skill and possess that skill, your chances of being successful are absolutely elevated by 50%. So whatever you're pursuing in life, your chances of making it big in this world shoot up by 50% with just one skill that if you work on and develop in your personality. And one of the key elements of success is personal success. That is how I appear to the world. So what I look like, how I carry myself, how I dress, how I speak, all of that has to do with my personal success. आप अपने आसपास देखें, in your class of 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 students, you look at certain people and you're like, wow, she looks $1 million, or this person looks so wow, or this person talks so wonderfully. I wish I can look like her. I wish I can present myself like her. I wish I can talk and communicate like her. So all of that clouds your head when you see some people around you. It can be your faculty members, it can be your friend circle, it can be people on campus, people out of campus, anywhere in the world. That is what strikes a personality, how a person carries himself or herself, their executive presence, their overall gravitas, that when they appear in a crowd, they absolutely have people arrested attentions and they have head turn and look at them. So if you wish to be a person who has that commanding personality, what does it take to build that kind of personality? In the session today, tomorrow, and day after, we will look at all the nuances that are important to bake that kind of personality which makes you impress people wherever you go. Second element of success is emotional success. So I may look striking, I may look wonderful, I may talk very well, but am I emotionally successful? That means if at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night, I need help, how many people can I call and how many people will actually turn up to help me? Am I a person who has a flock of friends who will die for me, who will do things for me, who will be by me when I'm going through highs and lows in life? Who will be there to celebrate my highs and who will be there to offer me a shoulder to lean on when I'm going through lows? How am I with people around me? How do I communicate with people around me? Am I able to build that kind of rapport and relationship with people around me? The world can be beautifully classified into two kinds of people. One set of people who bring happiness wherever they go, and the other side of kind of people who bring happiness whenever they go. So I'm sure if I told you to think about people who fall in category A and think about people who fall in category 2, you will have names pop in your head. So it matters how you carry yourself, how you appear, how you talk to the outer world, but it also matters how many people call you their friends, how many people confide in you, how many people you can confide in, how many people are your confidant, and how many people are your go-to resource of friends. So emotional success. Next element of success is professional success. If you look at carefully the images that I build a collage of, they are all women who are doing extremely well in their respective career. So professional success is not limited by gender. Professional success is anybody who has what it takes to be successful can go and grab. So professional success also demands this one human skill Warren Buffett talked about. So how do you communicate with the world around you in a professional arena? So it matters how I carry myself when I speak. It matters if I have ability and skills to build relationship with people that are dependable. And it also matters how am I communicating in my professional circle, because all the communication that happens in the professional environment is three-dimensional. You're communicating with people above you, who are your bosses. You're communicating with your peers, who are your resources to bank on. And you're communicating with people who are beneath you. So you're communicating with people beneath you to tell them what needs to be done and get things done. You're communicating with your peer to lean on in times of need at work. And you're communicating with people above you because they are the ones you're answerable to. They are the ones who lead you. So communicating to them, they want to know the health of the business. You're supposed to communicate to them. So how you appear, how you talk, how you carry yourself, personal success. Emotional success, how you communicate in a circle of friends. Are you the one people vouch for? You may have a group of friends, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I insist for a moment, think about that one person who you absolutely go to. What is it about that person that makes this person the go-to person, even among a thick friend circle? So there will be one person who will be one notch above the rest, one shade different from the rest. So what is it about people? Even in your class, you will have people, you look happy when you see them appear in a class, and there are people you are completely turned off the day they arrive in the class. So what is it about people, their ability to reach out and communicate, that puts you off about them? And what is it about people and their communication which makes them darlings of everyone? And professional success, to quite an extent, girls, it hinges upon how effectively you communicate to people above you, to people with you, and to people beneath you. Fourth element of success, financial success. Financial success is how smartly you're able to crack your financial deals in a work environment and the world around you. All the negotiations that happen, all the persuasion that happens, all of that affects your financial success. So you may be giving a presentation to a group of board of directors. How smartly you're able to communicate your message to them and how effectively you negotiate a deal with them, of course, it determines your financial success. And next element of success is social success. So wherever you are in the world, are you someone people wait to listen to? Are you someone who's able to influence masses? Are you someone who is able to lead masses? Each one of us wishes to be a leader. What is it that is different about leader and people who are just around us in the world, at workplace? So leaders have a gift called communication skills. Look at political leaders. Leaders who are able to communicate the message more effectively to masses are able to persuade the masses to be led by them. And leaders who are not able to communicate to masses effectively, they lose traction. So socially also, if you're relevant, if you have the ability to influence or don't have the ability to influence, it depends upon how nicely you're communicating your message to the masses. So how you appear, how you are, your personal success, how well you're able to oil and grease and build your relationships and maintain your relationships is emotional success. How smartly you clamber the ladder of success professionally has to do with the same skill, communicating with people above you, with you, and beneath you. Financial success, how big and good your bank balance looks like, also has a lot to do with financial wisdom. How are you able to communicate and negotiate and crack deals? And then social success. If you, whoever you are, right now you're a student on campus, there must be some students on campus who must already be shortlisted for various portfolios, student portfolios. What is it about their personality that they stood out and they were the chosen few? Because probably they were able to influence the immediate circle of people around them, and hence they got noticed and shortlisted for different responsibilities. So that is your social success. And last and not the least, spiritual success. At the end of the day, we want to sleep each night with a clear conscience and clear head. So we want to wake up every morning with a smile on our face, and we want to sleep with a clear conscience at night. So how we communicate with the God Almighty is also a kind of communication. All of this that you see on this sheet determines your overall success, because success can't only be, I have a lot of money. So what if you have a lot of money but nobody stands by you when you go through a tough time? What if you have a lot of friends but you're professionally not growing? What if you're growing professionally, you have a nice fancy designation on your business card, you carry yourself well, you have friends, but financially, you're not able to make the kind of money you would want to make out in the outer world? And what if you have all of that going right, but socially, you're not the person who gets picked and chosen by people to lead? And at the end, spiritually, how are you communicating with your inner being? How are you communicating with your alter ego, with your the Almighty, whoever you communicate your daily prayers with? So all of this is necessary to be successful. And each of this requires one human skill that gives you that edge which assures success. And as Warren Buffett just mentioned, it is the skill to be able to communicate. Now, communication is not just mastery over language. Communication is a lot more than mastery over language. So when I was asked about this 3-day workshop for all of you, I spent some time thinking about what is it that I would like to share with you. I have I don't know, because I couldn't hear what Mom was talking about when she was introducing me. But in 2 lines, academically, I'm a psychologist, and professionally, I have led corporates in different organizations and different portfolios. And now I'm an entrepreneur. And whatever I have done in past 25 years of my career, and I'm not ashamed, I'm 45 and I'm very happy with whatever I have done so far. And trust me, I have 25 years of professional experience to absolutely say very confidently that I have experienced people with communication command lead each dimension of their life, whether it is their personal success, that how good they are personally, what kind of personalities they are able to build and cultivate for themselves. वो जहाँ जाते हैं उनका क्या impression पड़ता है, all of that has a lot to do with how well and effectively and smartly a person communicates. Then I have witnessed enough people, success stories scripted because they have great network of contacts and friends, because their emotional success parameter is very, very, very promising. And they're able to communicate to their friends and amongst their friends and people around them so beautifully that they do better in terms of the relationships they have around. And I have absolutely hordes of evidence to prove that professional success definitely has a lot to do with your communication skills, because in the outer world, you're always communicating. I mean, there's hardly any time when you're not communicating. You're either communicating with people above you, or communicating with people beneath you, or communicating with people at the same rung with who are peers at work, colleagues at work. So that definitely is something you can't ignore. And financials, I have seen people who are better at communication, financially do better in life. One, they're able to communicate their message more convincingly, and two, they're able to interpret information more convincingly, and they're able to use that information more convincingly. So financial success obviously trails, is something that follows suit. And social success, yes, it's all about, for example, all of you have social media presence today. So you are through various social media platforms, be it Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth. You are communicating with masses. Today you have children as young as 9-year-old and 10 years old and 7 years old who are rocking YouTube and who are culling millions and millions of dollars for themselves, and purely by effectively communicating with masses. There were times when communicating with masses required you to be in presence of masses, but courtesy COVID has had its share of good and bad. Everybody has become digitally sensitive and intelligent and smart. So today when we communicate to masses, we don't need to physically be in presence of masses. हम सिर्फ अपने social media platforms से communicate करते हैं masses के साथ, and we make things happen. So I remember way back when satellite boom happened in India and we started to have access to all the international channels, that was the first time we used to hear about Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch, who was the head honcho of Star Network, and Star was the biggest network once upon a time. And we used to read about him that Rupert Murdoch is the king maker, because he had a complete control over media, and whatever he communicated through various platforms of his empire then 20 years back was determining what happened in various countries. So girls, you, I'm sure, are better equipped with this particular dimension of success, that is social success. How effectively you communicate through various social media pages determines how well you do and how well you are perceived by the outer world, and how many people like what you create and like the information that you share with them. Careers are now being built by social media access alone, and mastery over social media. And that is social success. And lastly, spiritual success. Because I'm a psychologist, I emphasize spiritual success, because a lot of money, a lot of friends, a lot of professional gains and financial success, and no spiritual peace at heart isn't the idea of success. Because success means I'm doing well professionally and personally in the outer world, but I'm also at peace within me. So all of this together is what success is all about. And anybody, and I have, 25 years of work experience. So I wish we could have an interactive session today. If you had any questions, you could just shoot those questions, and I would love to have address those questions. But since there's this small, teeny, mini glitch I'm going to be very happy to receive questions from your end. And how communication skills play a vital role in each of these buckets, in each of these headings. You will be absolutely bamboozled by the power communication skills have to influence each of these categories that you see on the screen right now. Be it your personal success, be it your emotional success, professional success, financial success, social success, spiritual success. Art of communication is something that everybody vouches for. In fact, if you take examples like way back, some years back, when Dell introduced its music player, it didn't do as well as in the same period of time Apple had introduced its iPods. So Dell, which otherwise was making computers, had decided to launch their MP3 players, and Apple, which was also making computers, introduced their iPods. And to your surprise and to the world's surprise, Dell's venture bombed, whereas Apple's iPods became instant hit in the world. And this was case studied by the Howards of the world. And what they found out was it was the communication that made the difference. What was Dell communicating about its brand and what was Apple communicating about its brand made a huge difference. I wish we have a lot of time to talk about communication and how it makes a lot of difference, but keeping in mind that we just have 3 days and 1 hour each day to talk about communication, I at least would like to help you have a cursory understanding of what is communication skills all about and how important it is for you to focus on the necessity of building this skill. Communication skill is not only about standing in the middle of college on an auditorium and talking to people. Of course, that is communication skills, but communication skill is a lot more about who you are as a person and what you perceive about yourself as an individual. आप अपने बारे में क्या सोचते हैं? आप अपने बारे में क्या सोचते हैं determines your self-esteem. कि मैं अपने बारे में फक्र महसूस करती हूँ कि नहीं करती हूँ. That is what reflects when you stand up and talk. Even if you are in a one-on-one conversation, how do you have that conversation determines what you think about yourself. So communication skills are not just कि मैं सबके भीड़ में खड़े होके मैं कितना अच्छे से बात कर सकती हूँ. That's communication. Communication is also घर में पापा मम्मी से कुछ चीज मांगनी है तो मेरे सिबलिंग को तो मिल जाती है परमिशन, लेकिन मुझे नहीं मिलती है. कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स वहां भी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता है. आप क्लास में हो, हम 5 फ्रेंड्स हैं, एक को मिलता है अटेंशन क्लास में फ्रॉम अथॉरिटीज और फैकल्टी, बाकियों को नहीं मिलता है. तो व्हाट इज इट वन पर्सन डूइंग डिफरेंटली व्हिच अदर्स आर नॉट एबल टू डू. Communication is not just standing on the stage and talking. Communication is every day talking to anyone and everyone, because every piece of communication is determining the kind of life you live. So your art of communication will not only define what you think about yourself, it will define 360-degree everything about the quality of life you will have cultivated for yourself. Quick check. Now, because I'm a psychologist, so a lot of my references will be academically based. So one of the rules, and whatever I say here today, please feel free to go back home, make a note of it somewhere, go back home, and in your free time, please cross-check with Google. There's one rule known as average 5-person rule. And the rule states that average 5 people who influence our life determines our life. That means कि आपके जिंदगी में 5 जो भी बहुत अहम लोग हैं, people are really, really important in your life. They can be your father, your mother, your sibling, your teacher, your friend, your cousin, your neighbor, your relative, anybody. 5 people who really are important in your life, whoever they are. Today, after the session gets over, make a note of those 5 people. Now, those 5 people, you have no idea how they are influencing the kind of life you're living today. If you are in college, I'm assuming you're 18, 19, 20, somewhere there. Now, 18, 19, 20. There are enough 18-year-olds in the world out there who are super successful, self-made success stories. There are enough 19 years old out there right now who are success stories. There are enough 20-year-old right now who are success stories. For example, have you heard about this boy, Virat? Yes, we've all heard about this boy, Virat. You know what? Virat first ever picked up a cricket bat and started to learn professionally how to bat at the age 10. At the age 10, ghar ke paas, he was born in a very humble family, very humble background in Delhi, Uttam Nagar. And at age 10 was the first time when he went out to learn kaise khelte hain. So colony mein club ban jata hai. That is where he started to learn how to play cricket. And that was his first stint. And in short span of 10 years, he was playing international cricket. He was not only junior cricket team captain, but they also won the World Cup at that age in Malaysia. And 3 years from there, he was a part of the Indian national team that won the World Cup in 2011, if I'm not wrong. So all of that, average 5 people who influence your life, determine your life. So make a list of those 5 people who influence your daily decisioning. Now, these people are influencing the life you're living, because a lot of people your age out there are already doing very well. So if a Virat Kohli from a humble background could do so well at this age, at 19, what is stopping you? Now, who is it that we let influence us? Our current communication skill is also influenced by who are those 5 people we listen to every day and talk to every day and who influence us every day. Anything that you call necessary for being successful, anything that you think is necessary for being successful, and if you had that, you would be successful. Aapko jo bhi aisi koi cheez lagti hai, trust me, the 5 people who are around you, if you think they are ace at those skills, you automatically will learn to be ace at those skills. So if you think getting great scores is going to be reason why some people become successful, then look around yourself. How many people in your immediate circle of life were academic prodigies, are people who topped every school, every course they pursue in their life? If you are surrounded by people and you let these people influence you who are academically brilliant, trust me, your own scores will go up. If you think communication skills are important to do better in life, then look around yourself. How many people around you, out of those 5 people who are influencing you, are great communicators? If that is the case, trust me, your own communication skills will begin to excel. If there is something else that you think is necessary to be successful in life, look at those 5 people around you who influence your life. What is their current status on those skills? If their status on those skills is great, you automatically will reflect the same, because we are influenced by people around us. And as I said, that communication skill is absolutely necessary to have an edge compared to others, because how you communicate. आप ऐसे सोचो, a lot of people जिनके आने के ख्याल से भी you're like shit, वो क्यों आ रहा है इंसान? Sorry for the bad word, but you feel कि why this person? I don't want to see this person. जब घर में कभी मम्मी बोलती होंगी ना कि फलां आ रहे हैं, तो कुछ लोगों का नाम सुन के you want to bunk, disappear, dodge, and not be a part of that social engagement. And kuch logon ka sun ke hi naam, you are happier ki wow, I would love to meet this person too, because there's some people who bring happiness wherever they go, and there's some people who bring happiness wherever they go. So is this person bringing happiness wherever he goes, or is this person bringing happiness whenever he or she goes? So those are things that influence how people respond to this person. And that is a lot to do with how the person communicates with the people around him. So मैं किस तरह से communicate करती हूँ with people around me will influence what they think of me. Am I bringing happiness when I'm around them, or am I bringing happiness when I'm gone? So it is communication. So communication is not just communicating, standing on a stage with masses. Communicating is every minute of your life. Whatever you utter is going to influence people. So if you are influencing people a certain way, you will have a certain result from every communication. It can be a one-on-one communication with your parents, with your siblings, with your teachers, with your friends, at work, with your colleagues, with your peers, whatever. Everywhere we are constantly communicating. So now, what does success demand? Let's deep dive further. What is it that success demands from you to do? Number one, who you are as a person. Who you are as a person, that means your personality and habit. What kind of person you are, and personality is all about what feelings you have and what thoughts you have. They determine your personality, and what habits you have learned and mastered. Now, a lot of communication is born out of the person I am. कुछ लोग आपके आसपास होंगे जिनको देख के आपको लगता है अरे यार सब टाइम गुस्से में क्यों रहता है इंसान, और कुछ लोग होंगे अरे यार इसको पता है तो गॉसिप आग की तरह फैल जाएगा. तो you know what, when you think about people, you remember them in terms of adjectives. And those adjectives are reflected by their personality. So when we see someone, engage with someone, interact with someone, we go back home with certain adjectives about that person. And those adjectives, trust me, if we deep dive, those adjectives pop in our hand because of what we see them communicate while they're around us. So the communication they have with the outer world, the way they communicate with the outer world, earns them those adjectives. And basis those adjectives that they earn from the outer world, the world deals with them. The habits that you have, if I see a certain person wake up at a certain time every morning and do and live a certain schedule throughout the day, the person reflects certain habits, and those habits that he or she reflects earn him certain adjectives again. And these habits and the personality and the attitude and the thoughts that the person communicates to the outer world, verbally or non-verbally, earns the person adjectives. And the adjectives the person earns is how then the world starts to deal with them. Some people are thought to be leaders, and hence they get certain responsibilities. Why are they thought and perceived to be leaders? Because they communicate a certain way, and hence the world sees a leader in them, and hence opportunities gravitate to them. So how you communicate with the outer world about your personality, about your habits, is how people start to perceive you. And the way people perceive you is how opportunities start to come to you. So if you want to do well in life, you have to work on the kind of person you are. That means you have to think about the personality that you have in past 18, 19, 20 years, you have sculpted for yourself, because the personality that you have designed for yourself is a result of your communication with the outer world, and that is what is earning you all the opportunities. And that communication with the outer world is either through verbal means or through non-verbal means. Second thing that the success demands is what you bring to work. What is it that you bring to work? By that I mean to say, whenever you are at work, even as a student at college, you are at work. So what is it that you're bringing to work? कि अगर say there's a girl named स्मिता अगर आज क्लास में है तो ये चीजें तो हो ही जाएंगी, सोचने की जरूरत नहीं है. स्मिता क्लास में है, अरे बाबा आप तो ये कैसे करेंगे? So that is what you are bringing to work. Is your presence a presence something that people look up to as wow? Or is your presence something people look up to, look down upon and say, oh my God? So what kind of element your personality is all about, and what are you bringing to work? And work is the moment you get up and get out of the house, it's work. You're a student, this is as good or bad as a work world will be for you in future. So your knowledge and your skill is what you bring to work. Okay, this person is so good at this, with this person around, I don't need to worry. This person has such profound skills, but this person, I need not ever bother, things will get done. So that is the kind of communication you have with the outer world. How do you communicate your knowledge? How do you communicate your skills? Again, communication, personality, habits, knowledge, skill, all of that can happen verbally and can happen non-verbally. The kind of people who surround you, the 5 people who are influencing you, who daily you engage with or regularly you engage with, listen to, talk to, discuss, and your decisions are influenced by, they are the ones who are also controlling and determining your own success in this world. Because people who communicate a certain way, and they are so if you have people who are very, very nice at communicating around you, and those 5 people who you have shortlisted at your scope of influence, if they communicate a certain way, trust me, you are inspired, you are motivated, you are driven, you are excited accordingly. If those people communicate a different way, you are demotivated, demoralized, not excited, down in the dumps accordingly. So how the world around you that you have created is communicating with you is also influencing how you feel about yourself and what you are making of your life. So communication is not just mass communication from a stage platform. Communication can be how you're communicating through your social media, how you communicate one-on-one, and how you communicate when you are in a group. All of that is communication. So I wanted to put one pager for all of us and our consumption. That is, when I say communication, what you say anywhere. It can be with parents, because parents love children the most. That is given. Now, and a lot of us have siblings. So we are not just the only child, we have siblings. And I'm sure some of us do squirm at times कि मेरी बात तो मानते नहीं है, मुझे तो approval देते नहीं है, मुझे तो permission देते नहीं, इसको कैसे मिल जाते हैं सारे approvals and permissions? Again, the person is communicating differently and you are communicating differently. On this note, I have a very cute anecdotal reference that I want to share with you. एक बार क्या होता है? There are two friends, and they're two Christian friends. They go to a church, and in the mass ceremony, both of them have a strong urge to go out and smoke. And so the first one says, go take permission from Father that we should be allowed to smoke. So the other person goes to the father, and 2 minutes baad he comes with a long face. Mere ko to daant pad gayi, father scolded me and he shooed me away. He's almost thrown me out of the church. So the first one says, Acha, let me go and ask. He goes to father and he says, Father, he says something and he comes back with a big smile on his face. And he says, yeah, permission will give, just smoke karte hain. So the second one says, what did you say to the father that he said yes and I was thrown out? So obviously the first one asked, what did you say? But I said, Father, can I smoke while I pray? Obviously, how can you smoke when you're praying? That's unquestionable. That's not even a thing to ask, propose. So I was thrown out. But what did you say? So the first one says, well, I said, Father, can I pray while I smoke? Prayer can be done anytime. Wow, my child, you are God's child. You can pray whenever and whatever you do, while whatever you do. So imagine, pray while I smoke, smoke while I pray. Same 4 words, just the swapping of the word order, and the message that reached the Father was so different. So can I pray while I smoke? Can I smoke while I pray? That's verbal communication, right? But imagine just flipping the word order of 2 words in that sentence, communicated so differently. So what you verbalize, what you say, changes the impression and influence you have, and hence the result that you receive from the outer world. So verbal communication is a beautiful science. Some people are verbally gifted. They say things in a way that permissions and opportunities happen to them by default. And some of us struggle to say the same thing with same finesse, and we always find ourselves in a quagmire. Ye kahan phas gaya? Now, so what you say is of vital importance. And there are a lot of things that are necessary to shape your verbal communication a certain way. Second is how you say it. Of course, in this example that I shared, the how was so important, because how one, of course, the boy flipped the word order, but also how you communicate. That is, your non-verbal body language is also communicating all the time. For example, if I had someone, I was told about someone that this person has been promoted, for instance, and I had to congratulate the person after receiving this information about this person. And I said, let me demonstrate. Oh, you got the promotion. Vis-a-vis, oh, you got the promotion. I've said the same things. Did I sound similar? No. So a lot of people around us, and I'm sure names will pop in your head, a lot of people around us, sure look at them on the campus and you're put off. And a lot of people around us sure look at them and you have a smile. So what is it about these people that is so differently wired that one to one we respond so positively, and to the other we respond so differently. So how people communicate through their non-verbal cues is so important. In fact, scientifically and statistically, it is said that 30% of your communication is verbal, vis-a-vis 70% of your communication is non-verbal. Even silence communicates. On phone, when you're talking to a friend who is, कभी आपने ऐसा experience किया that you're on phone talking to a friend and you are excitedly sharing something about something that has happened in your life, and then you pause and say, yeah, तू तो सुन भी नहीं रही मेरी बात. What is it that you get? What cues from the other end communicate that the person is not listening to you attentively? Imagine, even silence communicates. Even a pregnant pause from the other person, or a verbal nod that should have happened, if it doesn't happen at the right time, also communicates that the person is disinterestedly listening to you. So non-verbally, everything about us is communicating. So when you stand up on a stage, trust me, even before you start to address the masses beneath, the sheer posture you take to stand up and talk, and the body language that you use, your hand gestures that you use, even that communicates even before you start to talk. In fact, because there was, for about a year, 2 years, when I was in my corporate stint, I was heading hiring. So our job was to recruit people, to head recruitment processes. And trust me, when a person comes for an interview, even while the person is out in the lobby waiting for turns with a lot of other candidates, even the way the person walks in, enters the premises or enters that lobby and sits, even that communicates. And even the way the person walks into an interview chamber or interview cubicle, even that entry communicates. Even before the person has wished you a good morning, the sheer presence of the person and the way the person is entering also communicates. So the non-verbal communication is super duper powerful. A lot of teachers on campus in school that you must have fallen in love with, because the way they communicated was so pleasant. उनके मुंह से डांट भी बुरी नहीं लगती थी. And there's so many adults in our environment, डांट क्या, उनके खड़े होने से भी हमें बहुत टेंशन हो जाती है. So how a person communicates is not only verbal, it's a lot more non-verbal. So what you say and how you say. And then the tools you use, the kind of tools you use, your vocabulary, your fluency, what kind of words you use to say what you want to say. कभी-कभी आप कहना तो बहुत कुछ अच्छा चाहते हैं, लेकिन choice a word at the drop of a minute is not the right choice of word. So you either are groping for the right words, or you end up using a word which isn't appropriate. And maybe a person is not fluent. By fluency, I mean, आप जब बात करते हैं तो क्या अटक के बात करते हैं? For instance, let me demonstrate. Girls, I'm glad I'm a part of this webinar, and trust me, when I saw the screen at the onset of this webinar, now if I were to talk like this, my speech would be so staggering. Every millisecond I'm pausing. So fluency makes it nicer. It's like music to ears. But if I'm not fluently saying what I want to say as intended, I may lose my audience. I may lose credibility. तो आपकी choice of words and your fluency are the tools. और ये तमाम चीजें मैं आज आपसे इसलिए कह रही हूँ because कल और परसों हम इन सब चीजों को कैसे मास्टर कर सकते हैं उस पर जिक्र करेंगे. And lastly, the credibility that you build. And that is how people perceive you. Trust me, girls, is एक चीज के ऊपर perception management in management. If any one of you chooses to pursue management studies in future, you will be taught perception management. So how a person is perceived, trust me, is 99% responsible for the person's success or no success, vis-a-vis how good a person is. Person may be very, very wonderful, intelligent as hell, competent, hardworking, laborious, high on integrity, everything great. But that greatness contributes to 1% of the person's success in real world. 99% of success hinges upon how the world perceives the person. कुछ लोगों का perception इतना मजेदार होता है कि वो लायक कितने होते हैं पता नहीं, लेकिन they go and impress the world and the world feels, wow, this is the blue-eyed girl or boy of the group. So perception management is in management studied as a separate program. And a lot of my leadership sessions are planned around perception management, because brand perception, how you perceive a brand. For example, you have a brand like Patanjali. Now, Patanjali is a big brand. I don't know how good their products are, but at India level, we perceive that they're juxtaposed to high value, integrity, and nationalism, and all of that. That is the perception of the brand. How good or bad they are, that is no quality guarantee, but that's the perception of the brand. So brand building is nothing but perception management. And brand building begins once you are in a professional world. But every day you are perceived by your immediate world around you. You're perceived a certain way. And you yourself are responsible for how the world perceives you. If you are in a class, how come X girl in your class gets perceived by the teacher a certain way, and Y girl in your class gets perceived by the teacher a different way? If you are in family, how come X cousin in your class or in your family gets perceived a certain way? How come the Y cousin in your family gets perceived a certain way? Perception management is important. It is important because if the world perceives you in a positive light, you will receive perks from the world. If the world perceives you differently, you may miss out on a lot of perks from the world. So if you want to do well in life, be it personally, professionally, financially, and all those 6 categories, your perception by the outer world has to be beautifully managed. And perception management is also communication. So all of this that I've talked today is hinging upon one human skill, and that is communication. And trust me, communication is studied in depth, at length, breadth, with everything in the world, and the elitist organizations of the world pay a bomb to people who can help build this one skill amongst organizations, leaders, managers, employees, anyone and everyone. So you can be a communication coach, and that alone will ensure a great success, financial and otherwise, if you in future choose to. So communication is an art, but it can be learned. It's not that I can't learn to be a more effective communicator. So what I was trying to or intending to talk about today is that all of us wish to be successful, and each one of us may define success differently. There are largely those 6 categories that put together becomes the hamper of success. We don't want success and no friends. We don't want friends and no success. We don't want friends and success and no peace of mind. We don't want peace of mind, but not other things. So we want all of that. We want a hamper for ourselves, that we should be doing well personally, professionally, financially, emotionally, and socially, and spiritually. So that is what will ensure what quality of life are you creating for yourself. And trust me, bottom line is that all of that you desire for yourself as success, it starts from communicating to the outer world. And you communicate by choosing what to say, how to say, the right vocabulary, right fluency, and working on your perception and managing your perception. And all that you see on this page is communication. मतलब मैं इस पेज पे एक वर्ड के ऊपर ना पूरा एक वर्कशॉप कंडक्ट कर सकती हूँ, पूरा एक सेशन सेमिनार प्रोग्राम रन कर सकती हूँ. There's so much that we can build, and this one skill, this one human skill, which is called communication, changes lives. It changes lives by nth benchmarks. So anyone you see around yourself who's better at the kind of relationships the person has in personal life and professional life, who is the person that bosses love to have around, colleagues love to have around, friends love to have around. What is this person doing differently? This person is communicating to the outer world differently. And each of these skills can be learned. There are 3 classes of people we're always communicating with. Communicating with people above us, those can be our relatives, those can the adult relative population, starting from your parents, those can be your teachers at school, those can be your bosses and authority in the outer world. Then we are communicating with people at our level. That is, those can be cousins in family, siblings and cousins, friends in the outer world, and colleagues in future. And we are communicating with people beneath us. Those can be your younger brothers and sisters at home. Those can be your juniors in school and college, and those can be your subordinates at work. So how are you communicating with these three layers of people? Because पूरी जिंदगी हमें ये तो करना ही करना है. And how you communicate will determine your success. So I wish I could have spent a one-on-one time with all of you, and we could have had an interactive two-way communication. And I'm feeling so bad and sorry that I've not been able to do that. But that is, I will try and dabble a little more into this one slide. So I'll have more content around this slide that you see on your screens. The four areas of communication. That is what you say, how you say it, tools you use, and credibility that you build for yourself. Each of this is absolutely detrimental to success. And success in absence of happiness and joy and peace is futile. So you have to do well in the outer world, but you also have to be at peace within and happy in the heart. So how do you do that? We'll continue to talk about that tomorrow and day after. And I hope, like hell, that we are able to learn something and make a difference to our life.
Exactly.
So, ma'am, I cannot hear any one of you. I am assuming I was audible. I'm stopping my presentation.
Yes, ma'am, you are very much audible. Thank you so much, Shweta ma'am, for the day's session. Girls, I'm requesting you to join the session tomorrow by 12:45. आप उससे ज़्यादा late नहीं करेंगे. Else,
Talk to you. I can't hear anybody. I'm hoping I'm audible. Okay, yeah, thumbs up. I can see Mohita ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
So, Kal, you'll have to join the session by 12:45 tomorrow. Is it okay, beta? If you're late than 12:45, you will not be allowed to attend class, and you will not be marked as present. So, certificates will be based on your attendance. So, make sure you attend the class or join the class by 12:45 tomorrow. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So, we'll see you all tomorrow by 12:45.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.